Hi everyone, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface, and I thought we'd do a pretty fun video today. Now, some of you may argue that yesterday's video was fun. 40 minutes of me losing my mind over an absolutely terribly written TV show. Me, not so much. Not so much. I was going bonkers yesterday. Not as fun for me as it was for you. But next week, no show. No show next week. Get the week off. Oh, thank God. So I've got 2 weeks to try and gain what I have remaining of my sanity before I have to touch this again. But I thought, let's do the Golden Joystick Awards. Because there was some really interesting stuff when it came to the winners, as you can see from the thumbnail and the title, and on the screen right now, for your viewing pleasure. So let's just get into it, shall we? PC Game of the Year for 2019, World of Warcraft Classic. Now, this is a mixed one, which I'll go into. First and foremost, you know me, I was a big proponent for Classic WoW. When Classic came out, I started to play it. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. I loved the pace of the game. I loved the world again. I loved that danger. You know, the toughness of the enemies, the resource management, all of that. Loved it. And I got ill. And then just after I recovered from being ill and I was about to return to play Classic, we had the whole Blitzchung incident. So I myself put my money where my mouth is, and I said I am refusing to play Blizzard games, any Blizzard game, while the ban is still in effect on Blitzchung and American universities. So it could be up to 6 months until I touch it again, should I wish to. Which is a shame, obviously. Should they rescind it beforehand, it opens the door. But it's really a shame because I was thoroughly enjoying myself, and the popularity of the World of Warcraft has just boosh. It's skyrocketed, and it's all because of Classic. Now, I don't want to harp on too much, but we obviously know what J.M. Barak, the current president of Blizzard Entertainment, said about it. He said, you think you do, but you don't, in reference to wanting WoW Classic. And then I heard some really rather interesting information come out of this year's BlizzCon. Now, this news apparently originated from a Blizzard shill channel, so it doesn't surprise me in the slightest. But J.M. Barak is being reported as saying, behind the scenes, I was really fighting for WoW Classic. I wonder if WoW Classic had been an absolute turkey. If it had been an absolute turkey and nobody played and it generated no interest whatsoever, and it just appeared to be all hot air by people, nobody turned up, I wonder if they would have suddenly turned around and gone, we told you so. 1,000% they would have done. 1,000% they absolutely would have done. So, behind the scenes, I was pushing for WoW Classic. Fuck off. You absolute numpty Blizzard president. Ugh. So, the flip side, though, and you do have to look at the flip side, which is rather depressing, is WoW Classic came out in 2004. This is when it came out originally, and this is essentially a like-for-like version. Obviously, they just made a couple of tweaks with sharding and stuff like that to try and stem the flow of players and whatnot. But this is the same game. And 15 years later, it wins Game of the Year again, which to me is a bit of a damning indictment on the current state of PC games. True PC original games. Which is, you know, rather crazy. And that's obviously no disrespect to WoW Classic, because I do love it, but it is a game that was made in 2004. So, for all the people, you know, for all the games industries that start ranting and raving about, oh no, you know, this is the way forward, this, that and the other. Clearly it isn't, because if games from 15 years ago are winning Game of the Year, then it shows that things aren't going forward. Not going forward at all, as the world crashes into sequel or annual franchise or broken piece of hot garbage, which plenty of games are, or as much of the industry is pushing into the mobile space, pushing into the mobile zone, because that is the best way to put as least money in terms of development and maximizing profit exponentially because of the amount of money that you can get out. Which is a shame. Like I said, damning indictment, but that's where we are. So with that said, let's jump on to some of the other big winners. The PlayStation Game of the Year is Days Gone. Now, this is a rather interesting one, I gotta say, because critics didn't take to Days Gone very much. Said it was a decidedly average game for the most part. I never bought this, but I really liked the look of it. It was just something which, time-wise, I never got, I never thought I'd get round to it at that point. And so it was something that I wanted to pick up, didn't have the time to play it really, and so ultimately left it. But I always had an interest in this game. Now, one thing I did hear was the people who purchased it, and this is from gamers, not from critics. The gamers who purchased it loved it. They really enjoyed the game, and I heard nothing but good things about Days Gone, which again kind of made me think, well, maybe, I'll let the price just drop a little bit, and then I'll sneak in there and grab a copy. Now, of course, this is PlayStation Game of the Year, so this is exclusive title, So this is exclusive title, not across the board. So I am quite surprised to see how popular clearly it was, and sort of makes me think maybe it needs to join my list of games that I need to play. In terms of Xbox, I don't think there's too much surprise here, and I know what I'm going to say next may sound a bit harsh, but unfortunately, it's just the state of play when it comes to exclusivity between Xbox and PlayStation. Xbox exclusivity is near nothing. Let's just be frank. It's near nothing. And so, really, was there anybody who could have rivaled Gears of War, who could have gave it a run for its money? I don't really think so. As in terms of what I heard, because I do have an Xbox One. Do I play it? Barely ever. Is that because I'm not a Microsoft fan? Not at all. It's just that in this generation of console, and I play console and I play PC, I play both. I'm not somebody who gets hung up on this. I even play Switch as well, quite happily. There's just, I don't think, any competition between the two. I think, the PlayStation 4 has annihilated the Xbox this generation. Last generation, it was 360 all the way for me. All the way. I wasn't interested in the PlayStation 3. Only interested in the exclusives that came out for it. The Last of Us, Heavy Rain, stuff like that, which you couldn't get on other devices, other console devices, I think. So that was the only reason why I'd go to the PS3. But everything else was just 360 all the way. So, yeah, not surprised. I don't think there was anything else to really rival it. Nintendo Game of the Year went to Super Smash Bros. Interesting that they had a Nintendo. Obviously, I imagine Nintendo exclusive because there's a PlayStation exclusive, Xbox exclusive, so I suppose Nintendo exclusive. No big deal, no big surprise. I don't think with Smash Bros. It's been highly anticipated, and it's done what it's done. Most wanted game, Cyberpunk 2077. You're goddamn right. I don't think any sane person could really argue against this in terms of anticipation. CD Projekt Red, my God, what a studio. They take their time when it comes to game creation. I don't think there's anything wrong with that whatsoever, because when the games come out, they are exemplary. Witcher 2, exemplary game. Witcher 3, my personal best game of all time. I don't think there's a game better in the world ever than The Witcher 3. Obviously, it's a subjective opinion. Before people start jumping, but I personally think. And CD Projekt Red wanted to move on from the Witcher series. Cyberpunk 2077. I've got no doubt this will probably be an absolute doozy, and we will have hundreds of hours worth of fun in this title. And it's got Keanu, so who could argue with that? Critics' Choice Award. Again, rather interesting, this one, especially from the critics. Again, another game that I had my eye on but never picked up was Control. Another one that piqued my interest, but again, I said to myself, I don't think I'm going to personally have the time to play it with what else I had on my plate. And so I gave it another berth, again, wait for it to come down in price, and, it might slip into one of those holiday moments. But I didn't ever hear too much about it. I know that critically it seemed to do okay, but in terms of gamers actually playing it, I never heard much, anything. I didn't hear that anything particularly negative. I never heard anything particularly positive, because there just didn't seem to be much conversation surrounding this title at all. It was a Remedy game, I believe. Remedy, and I do like Remedy. I do like the ideas that they have. And so I do think it would probably be something up my back alley, ladies. But yeah, quite an interesting one for the critics. Lifetime Achievement Award, Yu Suzuki. It's been a bit of controversy, obviously, with Shenmue 3. My Kickstarter specific edition came through yesterday. Shenmue 3. Haven't had time to play it yet. That's something that I will get round to over the course of this weekend. But Yu Suzuki does have an unbelievable legacy, regardless of the controversy surrounding Shenmue 3 with the switch to the Epic Store, the exclusivity there, the fact that backers of the Kickstarter weren't going to get the pre-order bonuses and stuff like that. There was a lot of bad will, considering that we pumped in I personally pumped in $300 to the Kickstarter, because I'm such a Shenmue fan. Series which I just absolutely adored, and I wanted to see more. But all in all, I think in the Kickstarter, it made like $6.5 million, nearly $7 million dollars, which was a record. And it just showed how much fans wanted to see the game. And then suddenly there was extra investment from here and there, and then they got involved with Quicksilver, and Quicksilver, have a relationship with Epic Games, and suddenly it became an Epic exclusive. It got very messy, but all the virtual titles, virtue of this, virtue of that, it's all Yu Suzuki. You can't begrudge him a Lifetime Achievement Award if, it has been somewhat tarnished a little bit in recent times with this whole Shenmue 3 debacle. Ultimate Game of the Year, to finish things off, Resident Evil 2 Remake. I'll tell you what, folks, this year, for the first time, I will be actually creating a My Games of the Year video. Probably top 10. My top 10 games of the year. Now, I still have to create it. I'm going to release it sometime early December. But I'll tell you what, I don't know where Resident Evil 2 Remake is going to finish exactly. I do really, but I'm just playing a game. But I tell you what, it's right up there. It is right up there. This was stunning. This was absolutely bloody stunning. We see a lot of HD remakes. We see a lot of cheeky little remakes like that. But to take a beloved game like Resi 2 and literally give it a complete overhaul while staying true to the game itself, the original, my God, they did an absolutely exceptional job here. When I played the short hour-long, I think you got an hour, maybe 30 minutes, actually, beta, it was so good. It was really appetite-inducing. But when I got the collector's edition, I had to. I needed that Leon statue. I needed it. I got the collector's edition, and when I played this through, and I streamed this, I fucking loved it. Loved it. Completed the Leon storyline, then went to the Claire one, got right to the end of the Claire one, and basically had no ammo on a couple of final bosses, which would have meant I would have had to have really, really concentrated to beat them. I mean, really, really hard, because I had nothing to essentially fight them with. So I sort of tapped out around there. It's on the hardest difficulty, so shouldn't beat myself up too much, although I was rather annoyed with myself and rather frustrated that I got myself in that position. But in terms of enjoyment, in terms of the way Capcom, to be honest with you, as a company, really seem to be turning themselves around. In the 90s, early 2000s, a much-loved developer, much-loved publisher. And then suddenly, it just became Capcom the remake, Capcom the HD this, Capcom, we're going to release the 68th version of this game on this console. And it became a bit of a meme, bit of a joke. Didn't seem to particularly care anymore. And then in recent years, they seem to have a bit of a redemption arc going on. That they really want to clean up the act. They really want to get back in the game. And Resident Evil 2 Remake, I mean, I see nothing but love. I see nothing but care and attention with this. And it was phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Having all those sort of Resident Evil feels from back in the day with a modern gameplay, modern look, updated dialogue, not so cheesy, but still a bit cheesy at times, which is great. Just perfect. Just absolutely perfect. So all in all, I think fair stuff. I think fair play when it comes to what won what, to be frank. Or I'd rather be as. So I hope you enjoyed the vid. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. If there's anything that you think was glaringly out of place. But I hope you enjoyed the vid. If you did, do get thumbs up. And also subscribe to the channel. Follow me on social media and Twitch for live streaming. Links are in the description box down below. And I'll be back with some more stuff very soon. Pause. Take a breath. Just in case anyone's still here and you're saying to yourself, what about Stadia? Stadia released today. Why isn't there anything about that? Well, it's not 5 o'clock yet in the UK, and 5 o'clock or 9 a.m. Pacific time in the US is the official launch time of Stadia. So nobody's got their codes yet, unless you've had an advance, But I have got my Stadia right here. Google sent me one for free. I will say that quite happily. I have also purchased a Stadia as well, so I will get my second Stadia tomorrow. I've had a text today from the couriers. So my code will come through, past 5 p.m. UK time. I have it all set up in the front room at the moment, and I do have a plan for it. I'm actually going to test it out on my wired up to my router from my front room. I then plan on going to a local hotel. I've got the next couple of days away from the gym, so probably tomorrow I will be heading off to a local hotel and taking my laptop with me and attempting to connect to the hotel Wi-Fi and testing what Stadia is like from there. May also pop through to a friend's house and try it from a friend's house as well. So I do have some plans for testing the Stadia and creating a video. I've already started work on it. So for people that bowed out and wondered why there was another 2 or 3 minutes at the end of the video, that's why. Take care. Bye for now.